You knelt on the cold marble floor, scrubbing the tiles with trembling hands, the thick scent of detergent mixed with the dampness of the rag you held, making your head spin. Your arms ached, your legs felt numb from kneeling for too long, and worst of all, the fever that had started in the morning was now unbearable. But you couldn't stop, not when Lee Hana, Jungkook's so-called best friend, stood over you, watching with a cruel smirk. You missed a spot, she said, crossing her arms, your fingers twitched, gripping the rag tighter. I I already cleaned that area, Miss Hana. You said softly, your voice hoarse from exhaustion. Hana let out a dramatic sigh. Are you questioning me? She asked, her tone dripping with fake disappointment. You swallowed hard and shook your head. No, ma'am. Good, because I would hate for you to get fired over something as small as an attitude problem. Her words sent a chill down your spine. You weren't in a position to fight back. You had no family to support you, no savings to fall back on. This job at the John mansion was the only thing keeping a roof over your head. So you did what you always did. You lowered your head and scrubbed harder. From the corner of your eye, you noticed the other maids watching silently from a distance. They felt bad for you. You could see in their eyes, but they wouldn't dare speak up. They were just as afraid of Hana as you were. Hana crouched down beside you before her voice dropping to a whisper. Do you think I don't notice? She said, tilting her head. The way you look at him. Your breath caught. She didn't have to say his name. You knew who she meant. John Jungkook, your boss, the heir to the John Empire. The man you secretly loved even after knowing you are in no position to love a man like him. You are just a maid. Your hands froze for a split second, but you quickly resumed scrubbing, pretending you didn't understand. I don't know what you're talking about. Hana scoffed. Don't play dumb. It's pathetic. Jungkook might entertain you for fun, but do you really think someone like him would ever take you seriously? A mere maid? Her voice stung. You had never let yourself dream that far. I don't think anything. You murmured. Hana hummed, clearly pleased with your submission. She stood up and dusted off her dress. Good girl, now hurry up. I need you to prepare dinner for my guest tonight. Your body screamed in protest, but you nodded. Yes, ma'am. You knew this wasn't your real job. You were just a maid at the John mansion, not her personal servant. But she had power, power given to her by her last name, by her high society status, and most importantly, by her friendship with the heir of this house, John Jungkook. Your Jungkook. No, he wasn't yours. He never could be, but sometimes he acted like he was. The way his gaze always found you in a crowded room, the way he lingered when he handed you something, his fingers brushing yours for too long, the way he protected you from others yet never from Hana. You swallowed, forcing your body to move. Of course, Miss Hana, you said, even as your vision swayed. Hana smiled. Good, she said, tossing her hair before walking away. By the time evening arrived, you were barely standing. Your fever had worsened, your skin burning up while the rest of your body felt ice cold. You had been on your feet all day, cooking, cleaning, and serving Hana's guests, but none of them so much as acknowledged you. You carried the last dish to the dining table. Your vision was blurring. Just a little more, just one more step. But you were so weak that it dropped from your hands, crashing onto the floor. Gasps filled the room as the expensive porcelain dish slipped from your hands and shattered into pieces on the floor. Silence followed after that. You idiot! Hana shrieked, slamming her wine glass onto the table. Do you know how much that costs? Your heart pounded as you dropped to your knees, desperately trying to pick up the shards with shaky hands. I'm sorry, you whispered, blinking rapidly to stay conscious. You should be, one of Hannah's friends scoffed. She probably won't even be able to pay for it even if she worked here for years. Laughter erupted around the room, your vision swam, black spots dancing in your line of sight. I'll clean it up, you mumbled weakly. Hannah rolled her eyes. Forget it. I'll just tell the headmaid to deduct it from your salary. Your lips parted, panic setting in. Your salary was already low. If they deducted even a portion before you could protest, the front door slammed open. Heavy footsteps echoed down the hall, growing closer, louder. A cold shiver ran down your spine. You didn't have to look. You knew who it was, Jungkook. The air grew thick with tension when Jungkook entered the room, his presence demanding attention without a single word. His sharp eyes scanned the situation in seconds, your trembling form, the broken plate, the way Hannah and her friends were laughing. His jaw clenched. What the hell is going on? He asked, his voice dangerously low. Hannah immediately rushed to him, flipping her fake concern switch. Jungkookie, you're home already? She said sweetly. Jungkook ignored her, his dark eyes locked onto you. Are you sick? Your breath hitched before you could answer. Hannah cut in. Yeah, why are you talking to her? She's fine, she was just being clumsy. Shut up, Hannah. Jungkook said in anger. Hannah stiffened and even her friends looked shocked to see that. Jungkook crouched in front of you, reaching out to touch your forehead. The moment his fingers met your skin, his expression darkened. You're burning up. Why the hell are you working in this condition? Who told you to ignore your health and do all this? You opened your mouth but nothing came out. Jungkook exhaled sharply then, to your absolute shock, he took off his suit jacket and wrapped it around his shoulders. A gasp rippled through the room. Your eyes widened. Jungkook, shh, he murmured, sliding his arms under your legs and lifting you effortlessly. The room erupted in whispers. Hannah looked like a statue, her eyes wide with what she was witnessing. She turned pale. Jungkook, what are you? Jungkook shot her a glare so sharp it could cut glass. You should be thankful I'm not throwing you out of my house right now. Stay the hell away from her. Hannah recoiled like she had been slapped. You, on the other hand, were too weak to protest. Your body melted into Jungkook's warmth, the fever making it impossible to fight back. She's not a public maid, so from next time, don't even think about telling her to do anything, he said without even looking at Hannah. As he carried you away, you barely registered the way he whispered, I'm sorry. Sorry for what? For not protecting you sooner? For letting Hannah treat you like this? Or for something deeper, something you had yet to understand? Your eyelids fluttered shut. The last thing you felt was the gentle way Jungkook held you, as if you were something precious, as if you were something he was afraid to lose. Hannah left from there without wasting a second. She felt humiliated as Jungkook put her on a place in front of her friends. Soon everyone left. Warmth. That was the first thing you noticed when your mind slowly drifted back to consciousness. You weren't lying on the cold servant quarters bed, nor were you curled up on the hard kitchen floor like usual when exhaustion took over. Instead, you were wrapped in soft blankets, the scent of fresh laundry, and something distinctly familiar surrounding you. You stirred slightly, your body was still weak. You're awake? That deep voice, your eyes fluttered open, and there he was, Jungkook, sitting beside the bed, his forearms resting on his thighs, his dark eyes watching you closely. You swallowed. Where am I? My room. Your breath caught his room. You quickly tried to sit up, but dizziness hit you like a wave, and before you could fall back, Jungkook's hands caught your shoulders, steadying you. Slow down, you're still weak. You blinked up at him, your mind struggling to catch up. Why am I here? Jungkook's jaw tightened because you fainted. You were burning up and no one was taking care of you. Your heart pounded. You didn't have to. Stop. His voice was firm, leaving no room for argument. His gaze softened as he sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. Do you have any idea how mad I am at you? Your lips parted in shock. Mad at me? Jungkook's brows furrowed. You push yourself too much. Take on work that isn't even yours, and you let those people walk all over you. Why didn't you tell me? You looked away. How could you tell him that you were afraid of losing the only job you had? That you were used to being treated like this because your entire life had been one long series of disappointments and betrayals? Jungkook inhaled deeply, controlling his anger. Then, with slow, careful movements, he reached out and touched your forehead again. Your fever is going down, but you are not stepping out of this room until you are fully recovered. Your eyes widened, but no buts. You stared at him, lost for words. Jago was your boss, the heir to this massive empire, the man who had everything, but right now, sitting in front of you, caring for you like this, he wasn't the cold businessman the world knew. He was just Jungkook, and that scared you. Because the way your heart was racing told you that you were in far deeper than you had ever realized. The next few days were unlike anything you had ever experienced. Jungkook wouldn't let you lift a single finger. If you so much as tried to leave his room, he would appear out of nowhere, arms crossed, eyes narrowed. Where do you think you're going? The kitchen. Do you want me to fire the entire kitchen staff? No, you said, looking down. Then stay put. It wasn't just him, even the other staff started treating you differently. They suddenly spoke to you with respect, bringing you food and making sure you were comfortable. The maids who used to ignore you now greeted you with warm smiles, and Hannah, she had vanished. It wasn't until you overheard a conversation between the senior housekeeper and another worker that you found out Jungkook had personally kicked her out. She was a friend, but he said he never wanted to see her again after the way she treated Miss Ryan. You stood frozen in place, your heart hammering. Why was Jungkook doing all this for you? By the time you fully recovered, rumors had already spread like wildfire throughout the mansion. The entire household was buzzing with one question. Who exactly were you to John Jungkook? And that question was answered in the most unexpected way. It was an evening gathering, an important business event attended by Korea's most powerful figures. The John family estate was filled with high profile guests, the grand hall shimmering with luxury. You had no intention of being part of it. You were just a maid after all, but fate had other plans. You had been quietly passing through the hallway when you heard them. She's just a maid, someone sneered. Does she really think she has a chance with Jungkook? Hana's voice. You stiffened. You should have seen the way he carried her that night, in front of everyone. It's humiliating. Hana scoffed. Jungkook is just playing around. A man like him would never settle for someone like her. A sharp, cold voice cut through the air. You sure about that? Silence filled the surroundings, and then Jungkook stepped into view, his presence sending a ripple of shock through the room. You stood froze as his dark eyes locked onto yours, and then in front of everyone he walked straight towards you. Before you could react, he took your hand, intertwining your fingers with his. Gasps filled the room.